What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 6. Today we're going to talk about just our top end speed mechanics a little bit. When I was going through everything, I think one of the biggest things is people are always asking me, like, how often are we doing this kind of stuff, top end speed versus acceleration versus change of direction. I think it really depends on the sports that you're working with or the people that you're working with and what their goals are. If you think about most sports, that top end speed isn't really happening that often, because you got to think about depending on the athlete, it's happening between 15 and 20 yards when you're starting to get that top end speed. So how many sports are you actually doing straight line of 15 or 20 yards without having to make a cut? Obviously you have track and sports like that, but even as a wide receiver in football, a lot of times you're making a cut when you're doing like a post route or something. You're not going just straight line. So something just to think about. I kind of program it probably once every couple weeks if I'm working with the team, just to make sure we're getting it in there. We're doing some full range of motion cycles, and then I'll make sure to kind of coach it up as we're doing sprints as well. But usually we'll stick with a lot of acceleration and change of direction stuff. So I just wanted to touch on that, and then I was going to go through some of the cycle stuff that I wrote about. So talking about range of motion, one reason I did mention kind of knee range of motion, which is probably more or less just how flexible you are in the quad there, is going to be when we're doing that back end. So when I'm hanging onto a wall here, I've got that contact right below the hip, or right behind the hip, or underneath it on the ball of the foot. Then I'm snapping that heel up and recovering. If you watch that video, for me, this is about as high as I can go up. It's not bad, not an elite runner by any means, right? So if somebody that's going to be more of an elite runner, they're going to be able to get their heel up to their butt quickly, which is why hamstring strength and speed is very important. Get that heel up quickly, and before they can start driving to that front position to come back down to where they started, all right? So again, looking at that knee or that quad flexibility, if I can only get here, it's gonna take a lot more force and time to get that knee all the way around to that start position, versus if I can get this heel all the way up to my butt or close to my butt, all that center of gravity, or that center of mass, I guess, is a lot closer to the hip there. So I can drive that knee a little bit quicker forward and get back down and touching the ground. So that cycle rate is faster and faster. So I would say that's the biggest thing when I'm working with people. That, and obviously we mentioned posture. A lot of times you see people here, when they're here, they're not getting great force all the way down to their hips. Make sure those hips stay open, shoulders stay back, driving those elbows back. So play around with some of the absolute speed stuff. Like I said, sprinkle it in from time to time depending on the sport. But for me, I think the acceleration and change of direction stuff is definitely more of a day-to-day thing than the absolute speed is.